Welcome to your active recovery session. Whether you're a seasoned lifter or athlete or you're new to movement, this will help you recover on your off days by actively stretching all of the tissues in the body. We'll be using all three of our sticks today, starting with one long stick on the floor. So we're going to do a couch stretch or hip flexor stretch. So you're going to put your right knee down first, left leg is going to be out in front, and we're going to try to find a stretch in the front of this right hip into the quads. So it's very important that this back leg is not externally rotated. We want to make sure that that right foot is right behind the heel and that hip is driving forward so that we really feel a stretch in the front of the hip and not the side of the hip. So right knee is down, right foot is right behind that knee, toes are going to be tucked under if you can, and then the left leg is going to be out in front of you. The stick is going to be placed at 12 o'clock just inside that left foot and about an inch or two in front of it. Now you're going to reach up top towards 12 o'clock so that the bottom of the stick is angled away from you, and you can grab the stick around sternum height with that left hand if that helps with your stability. Now we're going to activate this stretch by driving that right foot into the floor, driving that stick into the floor at 30% tension. That tension is going to help scoop that tailbone under into a posterior pelvic tilt. We want to stretch the front of the hip, and if the lower back is crashing into this stretch, then we're not going to feel the stretch in front of that hip. So we want the pelvis to tuck under rather than pushing into this stretch. However, if the pelvis is tucked under and you still don't feel a stretch here, you can elevate that back leg. So you can grab some yoga blocks or a surface that's about a foot off of the floor, and you're going to place your back foot on top of that surface. So now that that back knee is slightly more flexed or bent, we're going to be able to find a deeper stretch in the front of that hip. Now, we're going to push in and out of a deeper stretch here. So keeping that tension on the stick and the back foot, you're going to imagine you're trying to lengthen the floor between that left foot and the right knee. So the left foot is going to drive forward while my right knee drives back, and you're going to shift your body weight forward. So we're lengthening the front of this hip even more, but once again, make sure you're not dropping into that lower back. Keep that tailbone scooped under, that right foot driving into the blocks, that right knee driving back as that left foot drives forward. So we don't want that stick to go beyond perpendicular to the floor. It's just a small shift forward. Then you're going to imagine you're squeezing that floor together between the left foot and right knee to come back up. And then we'll repeat. Drive the right foot into the yoga blocks or the floor. Spread that floor apart between right knee and left foot. And then squeeze that floor together to come back up. Let's do that one more time. Actively pulling into a deeper stretch for the hip flexors, and squeeze the floor together to come back up. Keep that tension on the front hip, and then we're going to rotate. So continuing to drive that stick into the floor, we're going to rotate that stick and your torso towards 9 o'clock. This is a very small rotation, but the extra length on this right side of the body is going to reverberate into that right hip, creating a deeper stretch. Slowly come back center. Keep that tension on that right foot, driving down into the blocks as you rotate again. Torso over towards 9 o'clock. And slowly come back center. And let's do that one more time. Driving down into the floor, rotating and pivoting over towards 9. Hold. Deep breaths here. 3, keep the tension on the back leg. And slowly come back center and rest. We'll switch sides. So find the progression that you're comfortable with on the other side, which may not always be the same progression as the right side. So if you feel a little bit tighter on that left hip, you may need that foot a little bit closer to the floor. Make sure again that the left heel is right behind the left knee, so we're not externally rotating there from the hip. Scoop that tailbone under so we find that posterior pelvic tilt. Reach that left hand on top. Stick is at 12 o'clock. We're going to drive the stick into the floor at 30% tension in that left foot, which is going to engage the left glutes, enhancing that stretch on the left leg. Now let's go in and out of this stretch. So we're gonna pull that floor apart between the right foot driving forward and the left knee driving back. You're gonna shift forward slightly. Keep driving down into the blocks with that left foot and then squeeze that floor together to come back up. Let's do that 2 more times. Lengthening and spreading that floor apart as you stretch forward. Keep that tension and then exhale. Squeeze that floor together, that isometric squeeze to come back up. And let's do that 1 more time. Lengthen the floor as you stretch forward, driving that right foot forward, left knee back. Bring that chest forward with you to make sure you're not crashing into the lower back, and then squeeze to come back up. Readjust if you need, reach the left arm a little bit higher, press down into the blocks with that left foot, and then rotate the body towards 3 o'clock. Very small rotation, but that extra length on the left side is gonna give a little more stretch to that left hip. Make sure that this right knee is not opening up with you. Slowly come back center, driving down again. We're gonna rotate to the right. And slowly come back center. Driving down last time. That active stretch in the front of that left hip. And slowly come back center. All right, slowly come on out of that position. Slide those yoga blocks to the side. And let's grab our other long stick. So we're gonna work into the hips a little bit more in an abducted position. So you can stay on the knees here. Right leg is gonna be extended towards 3 o'clock. You wanna try to get the bottom of that right foot on the floor. So we're gonna work deep into the adductor tissues, the inner thigh tissues of the hips. Sticks are gonna be right in front of the hips at 3 and 9 o'clock, about 2 feet away from each other. And then you're going to reach up with some slight slack in the elbows, grabbing the sticks with a rope grip. Drive the sticks into the ground at 30% tension. Tuck the toes under on that back leg. And then we're gonna sink the hips down and back into a hip abduction stretch. That right leg may slide out a little bit more as you go down. As you slide down, you're still driving the sticks into the floor at 30% tension. And now I'm trying to spread the floor apart between my right foot and that left knee. Then you're going to try to squeeze the floor together between the right foot and left knee as you pull yourself back up. You may feel a stretch in the shoulders and the lats here, and even the back foot, those toes. That's why we are tucking them under to get an extra stretch in the foot. Go ahead and sink down into that hang again. Drive the sticks into the floor at 30% tension, pushing out into the outside of that right foot, spreading that floor apart between the right foot and the left knee, and then drive the sticks down. Pull that body up and the hips underneath you. Let's go 1 more time. This time in that stretch, we're gonna stay in that position. So we're pulling that floor apart between the right foot and the left knee. Torso is going forward just slightly so we can get an extra stretch in the adductors or inner thighs. Now let's activate this hang by driving the sticks into the floor with a little more tension. Shoulders are pulling away from the ears, and let's add some rotation on top of this. Keep lengthening the floor between the right foot and the left knee as you rotate, reaching the left stick forward, right stick open, chest rotates towards 3 o'clock. So we're keeping the tension in the lower body so that the hips and the legs don't move. We want to separate the mid-back from those hips. Now let's switch the rotation. Right stick reaches forward while the left stick opens, turning that chest towards 9 o'clock. And then we'll switch again. Reach the left stick forward, right stick opens, turn the chest towards 3. Keep lengthening that floor between the right leg and the left knee. And switch. Right stick reaching forward, opening the chest towards 9 o'clock. Deep breaths in this position. Let's go 1 more time each. Reaching the left stick forward, rotating to the right. And 1 more time, reaching the right stick forward, rotating to the left. Let's slowly come back center and push down to slide out of it. Whew. Deep, deep, deep stretch in those hips. Nice job. So let's switch sides. The right knee is going to be down. Left leg is to the side. Now we're going to stretch into the hips of that left side. Sticks are going to be very close to you. Try not to keep them too far out in front. And we're gonna reach up top with some slight slack in the elbows. Drive those sticks down at 30%, and then we're gonna sink those hips down and back into your hip adductor stretch. Hold here. As you go down, remember, we are lengthening the floor between the right knee and the left foot. So the left foot is driving out while the right knee is pulling away from that. And then to come back up, you're gonna shorten the floor underneath those two legs. And let's take a breath and go into that stretch again. Drive the sticks into the floor, pulling that left foot away from that right knee. Again, this is all active stretching, so nothing should just be collapsing here. We're lengthening into the stretch and then pushing out of it. Let's do that one more time. This time we hold that stretch. So keep lengthening the floor between the left foot and that right knee. We're going to be here for a little while, so we want to just keep that light tension between the two legs. Now drive the sticks into the floor to activate that stretch or that hang. And then let's reach the right stick forward first. Body is going to turn towards 9 o'clock. So remember, we keep tension in the lower body to separate the lower body movement from the spine. And then let's switch. Reach the left stick forward. Chest is going to open towards 3 o'clock. Rotating the spine here with this. Rotate back to the left. Right stick reaches forward. You can turn the head with you if you'd like. Looking towards that 9 o'clock position. And rotate back to the right. 3 o'clock with that chest. The more you drive the sticks down, the more rotation you'll get out of that spine. And let's go one more time, rotating over towards the left. And last time, over towards the right. Let's slowly come back center. Take a deep breath. Squeeze that floor to come on out of that position. All right. Let's keep one long stick. We're going to stay on the floor for one more movement. We're going to do our pigeon stretch. So now we're going to stretch again the front of the hip, but also the external rotation of that front leg. Grab a yoga block if you need. So you're going to sit your right hip on the block, and the right knee is going to be right in front of that right hip, bent at 90 degrees. Now the left leg is going to reach behind you towards 6 o'clock. You're going to place the top of that foot and knee on the floor, and the stick is going to be placed at 11 o'clock, held in your left hand. So you're going to hold at about eye level or a little bit higher, and you're going to stretch forward into this position. This is going to help get a deeper stretch in the outside of this front hip and lengthen the back hip. Okay, so in this position, I'm driving that right hip away from my right knee. My right hand is placed here. You could also prop it up on a yoga block if needed. And then at the same time, my hip is pulling back. At the same time, my left hip is dropping down towards the floor. My chest is reaching forward. And once again, I'm almost in this hang position on the upper body of my left side. So my chest is driving forward. My arm is next to my ear. And then we're going to drive the left foot into the floor at 30% tension and the stick. So we've got a lot of tension happening here, a lot of body parts going in different directions. So just to reiterate, the right hip is pulling back away from the right knee. The left hip is driving down towards the floor. The left foot is driving into the floor. The left arm is by the ear, driving that stick into the floor as well. So we are really splitting the hips here, and we're in a deep stretch on that right hip. If you need a progression, you can take away this block under the front hip and get down a little bit further into that stretch. Okay, but same rules apply, right? Okay, so from here, let's activate this stretch. So we're going to perform some more isometrics. So you're going to stay in this position, but we're going to try to lengthen the floor between the right knee and the left foot. So you're spreading the floor between the right knee and left foot, lengthening, lengthening. And then let's shorten the floor. Pulling that right knee back towards your right hip and driving that left foot into the floor, almost trying to slide that left foot forward. And then let's do that again. Lengthen that stretch. So you may be able to get a little bit deeper into the stretch with this isometric contraction, and then shorten the floor between that right leg and left leg. And let's do that one more time. Lengthen the floor between the right leg and the left. Each time, hopefully you're able to get a little bit deeper into that pigeon stretch. And now shorten. Hold and breathe. Keep shortening that floor for 3, 2, 1. Slowly release that tension and come on out of it. Now let's go with that left leg in front. Okay, left leg is in front. Prop that hip up on top of a yoga block if needed. You can also grab onto a yoga block with that left hand out in front. Left knee is right in front of the hip, bent at 90 degrees. Right leg is behind you. Top of that foot is pressing into the floor. Right stick is in the right hand at 1 o'clock, and you're going to lean forward into that stretch, pulling the left hip back away from that left knee, driving that right hip forward, right foot into the floor. We're driving the foot down and the stick at 30% tension. So we want to stretch in the outside of that left hip and the front of that right hip if possible. Just take a few deep breaths here while you're still getting into that stretch. Driving that right foot into the floor is going to engage those glutes on that right side. So we want those glutes to be engaged there. Okay, so now let's activate this stretch even more. You're going to lengthen the space between the left knee and that right foot, spreading that floor apart isometrically between the right foot and that left knee. And then let's reverse it. Try to squeeze that floor between that left knee and the right foot. Hold. And then again, let's lengthen the floor between the left knee and that right foot, pulling apart isometrically. Use that left foot as well, driving forward. And reverse that, squeezing that floor. Right foot drawing down and in, left knee drawing back. Take a breath. Let's do that one more time. Hopefully each time you're able to get a little further into that stretch. Hips closer to the floor. And reverse it. Squeezing that right leg forward, left knee back. Hold. Breathe here for 3, 2, 1. Release the tension. Woo, and slowly come out of it. Nice. We've got 2 more movements left to go. We're going to stand up finally and grab our short stick. So we're going to work some shoulder extension and stretch the hamstrings a little bit. So you're going to grab the stick behind you with the palms facing back, just slightly outside the hips. And then you're going to soften the knees. Feet are about shoulder width apart. Soften the knees, bring the chest forward, and then float that stick up towards the ceiling. So we're folding the body in half, but also going into a shoulder extension stretch. So you'll feel the fronts of the shoulders stretching here and the backs of the legs. So we're going to hold here, shift side to side if you need, bend one knee, straighten the other, slide those hips up and down, whatever feels good, stretching the back of the legs. We're also releasing that spine here. The more you bend the knees, the more you're going to be able to collapse the chest towards the thighs. And then we can also bend both knees, straighten both knees, flossing in this position. Bend both knees, trying to get a little deeper into that stretch. And then try to stay deep in that stretch as you extend the knees. And let's go one more time. Bend and extend. So let's activate this shoulder extension position. You're going to pull that stick apart. So we're actively pulling, drive the shoulders away from the ears. Keep those knees slightly bent. And then we're going to stand up slowly. And as you do, keep pulling that stick apart and try to keep that stick away from the floor. Stack the ribs on top of the hips. Lift that chin, hold, and bring that stick down. Let's do that again. So go ahead, stretch forward, let that stick fall overhead. You can pull that stick apart the entire time if you'd like more of a shoulder stretch in this position, active shoulder stretch. You can release the shoulders here as well. Bend one knee, straighten the other. Shifting side to side. And then we can bend and floss. So bend, pull the chest closer down between the thighs. And then as you extend the knees, try to keep your chest there. And we'll do that again. Bend those knees, try to get deeper into that stretch. And then as you extend the knees, try to stay in that deep stretch. And let's go one more time. Bend. Try to keep that new range of motion as you extend, feeling a deep stretch in the hamstrings. Now let's activate that shoulder extension. Pulling the shoulders away from the ears, lengthen that stick, soften those knees as you come on up. Keep that stick away from the floor, hold, pull that stick apart, bring that stick down. Let's do that one more time. Falling into that stretch, we're gonna take a little shorter stretch this time. Shifting side to side. We're gonna floss a couple of times, bend, trying to reach a deeper range of motion as you extend. One more time. Now let's lengthen that stick, pull apart, pull the shoulders away from the ears, activating that shoulder extension. Feel the stretch across the front of the shoulders and try to maintain that as you slowly bring the chest up. Hold, 3, 2, 1, and bring that stick down. Whew. Nice job. Slowly release that stick, and let's go into our bow and arrow to finish. So we're gonna grab one long stick. We're gonna do our regular lateral bow and arrow to finish things out, stretching on the frontal plane side to side as we strengthen the opposite side. So we'll go shoulder width with those feet. Stick is gonna be at 3 o'clock, right next to that right heel, just about 4 to 6 inches away. Grab the stick at waist height with that right hand, palm facing forward. Reach that left hand over top. We're gonna drive that stick into the floor at 30% tension. Reach those hips away from the stick. So the spine is bending to the side, and then increase that spine bending by pressing that right arm into the stick. You'll feel a deep stretch on that entire left side of the body. Hold that for 3, 2, 1. Slowly come on up. Give that stick a little spin so we bend it in a new direction. And let's go again. Drive the stick into the floor at 30% tension. Reach those hips away. Keep reaching away with those hips as you bend the spine more and press into that stick. Keep both knees nice and straight here. Feel length on that left side and strength on the right side of the body. 3, 2, 1. Come on up, give that stick a little spin, and we're gonna do that one more time. Driving into the floor with that stick, reach those hips away, and press into that stick with that right arm, shortening the right side of the body, lengthening the left. Breathe here. Hold for another 3, 2, 1, and come on up. Good. All right, shake it out and let's switch. Tall standing position, feet at shoulder width apart. Stick is gonna go right at 9 o'clock, 4 to 6 inches away. If this is a lot for you to press into, you can reach the bottom of the stick a little further away from you so that you don't have to go quite as far to extend that bottom arm. Reach up top of that right hand, press down into that floor at 30% tension with the stick. Reach those hips away. Once you can't go any further, start to press into that stick. Shortening that left side of the body and lengthening, stretching into the right. Deep breaths here. Hold. 3, 2, 1. Come on up. Give that stick a little spin so we bend it in a new direction. Drive that stick into the floor at 30% tension. Reach those hips away and press into the stick. Deep breaths here. Make sure the stick is not falling in front of you or that your hips are not reaching in front of the stick. Try to bend in a straight line, straight to the side. Slowly come on up. Give that stick one more little spin. Drive into the floor at 30% tension. Reach those hips away and press. Deep breaths in this stretch. Hold. Last 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and come on up. All right, you made it. Very nice job. We got into some deep ranges of motion with those active stretches. I hope you feel recovered, and I will see you next time.